Hi, everybody. Welcome to live sessions for almost the end of August, if you can believe it. This year is flying by with flying colors. Summer has just gone by really quick, too. But today we have Swallowtail on, and I just want to introduce Matt from Swallowtail. He's here with us. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We like to start off with like how you guys came about as a band, and maybe a little bit about your background too.
Yeah. My band member, she has COVID. She's not here. She's also almost 80. Um, but this lady named Emile Clothier, who's been in a few bands and had some modest fame, she called me up 3 years ago in a cold call to play bass for her 75th birthday. Uh, and that was the beginning of Swallowtail. So we spent a summer gigging as Emile and the boys because she's Emile Clothier, and we hit it off immediately. Uh, but I was just backing her up. It usually would be me on violin or bass, and then uh, she she would bring in like a guitarist or a drummer or whatever. So it was Emile and the boys. And then one day we were having rehearsal, just her and me, and I played her a couple of my songs. Um, she's like, "Those are pretty good." I was like, "We should totally play my songs." And so then that created more of a partnership of the two of us, and so we decided to sit down and write an album. Um, Electric Horse from Swallowtail and the Kaleidoscope. You can find it on Spotify and everything else. Um, so we did that. So I was sitting in her house one day, just we were playing some music, and there was a swallowtail butterfly picture on her wall. And I also have a connection to swallowtail butterflies. I was like, I love swallowtail butterflies, and we talked about it. And then when it came to like naming things for like the next set of gigs or even the album or whatever, we're like, we have to be called Swallowtail. So that's the duo. Emile, the other thing why I'm here solo is Emile's 78. She has very few years left in her, if at all. So I'm carrying the torch. I will be Swallowtail, and however that manifests in the future as I carry it on. Um, but Swallowtail and the Kaleidoscope, because we never had like the same people backing us. My hair is funny, uh, and so we just wanted a name for whomever we could have. So when we did our album release, like we had a small string section, uh, had all these musicians, wonderful musicians. The technical scientific term for a group of butterflies is a kaleidoscope. So
Wow. Okay.
we thought
I
that
didn't
was
know that.
yeah. We learned that too. I because we were talking about what do we call the backing band or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was like, let's look up the technical term for a group of butterflies, and there it was. I was like, okay, that's psychedelic. That'll work.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and then me, I've so Emile's done all sorts of stuff. She's been performing professionally since the late '70s. She was in a cowgirl band. Um, I am a classical musician. I play violin in a couple regional symphonies, and a
Wow.
quartet. And then I've always like written songs and enjoyed writing music. And then if anyone listens to the album, and if you want to play a fun drinking game, you'll get drunk if you drink every time I say album, our album. If you want to listen to our album. Anyways, I arranged all the string parts on that. Uh,
Yeah.
and then I just like writing songs. I don't know. I always have. I have since I was like 12. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and so
What was
that's
the first instrument you played? Or
violin.
like,
I started when I was 5.
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I
Gosh, I
didn't
didn't start
practice
until I
though,
was
so I'm not as
17.
good
So
as I should
that's
be.
pretty cool.
So yeah.
Awesome. Did you, so, I mean, you said like violin, obviously, guitar. I see a piano behind you.
Yeah, I can do stuff on the piano. I'm not good. There's a couple songs on the album, Take a Drink, where I play the keys. And then I do write songs on the piano. That's the keyboard. The studio,
A keyboard.
I have a real piano in there, and I'm working on a tune that's on the piano. But I don't have any chops. I can play chords and stuff.
Me
But
too.
yeah,
That's about what
I
I
mean,
got too.
I play cello, and then Emil hired me as a bassist. The string family, like, and especially with frets, they're sort of all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's fun. I mean, it's cool to be able to like maybe do you know drums too?
I can do a basic backbeat. Like I have a drum kit because a friend of mine, like a few years ago, he's like, man, if you have a drum kit, the musicians come to you. So I went. Another friend had a and it's proved true. But
I'm a drummer. I can tell you that's true.
yeah, and so I found this kit for like $100 at a garage sale. Um,
That's
it's
amazing.
fine. It just like the cymbals are trash, but they are the funniest sounding cymbals in history. Uh, and so it's fun. Like drummers don't mind playing on it. Sometimes they'll bring their own snare, and then if I hire them for recordings, we'll always get their professional kits in. But for rehearsal, it does the work. And so, yeah, I know when I first bought it for like 6 weeks, and like I used to teach high school music, so like you have to do certain
Okay.
core
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but for like 6 weeks, I was like down there when I was home alone, like like I can do like 4 beats. I don't have like amazing repertoire, but like I can do some
Yeah.
4 beats with a couple fills. That's
That's awesome.
yeah,
I mean, it's definitely one of those ones that like if you have any sort of coordination, you can come up with like you can do basics,
yeah.
I feel. And it's always really good. Do you so have you recorded and produced everything yourself then?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when someone else does it, but I have to do more interviews like this and travel more and gig more, which will
Yeah.
be yeah, and it's funny, if you listen to the album, Take a Drink, yeah, the mix needs help. Because in making that album, like I just have a Zoom H6 and then GarageBand, and then I had like modest
Mhm.
know-how where to put a mic on like a violin or something. But making the album was learning how to make an album. So every recording I've done since, it's like tweaked to the direction of a better mix, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
so I'm looking forward to the next 3 songs that I'm when I have time uh, to lay them down, take all those lessons and just keep increasing the quality of the mix.
Yeah.
So then some because there is a thing like there's modest like not too many, but I have a small following on Spotify. Like I get like 10 auto plays a month. Then I know they're regulars. I know they're regular.
Yeah. Yeah.
But uh yeah, there is a qualitative thing where if your mix is good enough, it will, no matter how good the songwriting is, if the mix is good, it'll get hits. And so like just slowly taking that and knowing what to pay attention to when you are doing the dubs and the tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that process?
I have so far. I remember we got interviewed. We have a local radio, and so when we put on our big album, said it again. Uh, Don, the interviewer, he was like, "What was it like mixing it?" And I was like, I was never mad at Emil or me for like having to like spend an hour on a tenth of a second, like. Uh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think the part of recording that I need to make better friends with is taking the time to really set it up. And then the other thing is like I don't have a large surplus of time in my life, just where I am in life. Uh, and so it's just like, okay, three takes, whatever I can get out of that, I'll get out of it. And
Yeah.
and this next round of recordings, I got like 5 songs maybe on layaway right now. It's definitely gonna be like more practice time before those 3 takes. Because one, it saves on editing, and two, you
Right.
get a better performance. And like I did learn, like having that initial performance that doesn't need to be cut up and edited so much, like carries a lot of weight. And so I think making better friends with that rather than trying to have content to mix, just like to start with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's where I think, us as musicians kind of, um, I think can grow, and whether it's your favorite part or not, like you can always just make it better, or the better system or whatever. And I think doing it yourself is pretty brave because I can't do it. So, it's I mean I could look at it and be like, I think this is the right button to push, but I've only done it once in my life, and that was like 20 years ago. But since then I let other people do it because I got no room in my brain and I have no time. So like you, it's like crazy time of my life where I just don't have a lot of time. So I agree with that. And the kind of hard time it is like to learn because that's so much influx of information, having to like know all the different knobs and all the different things.
Yeah,
So
and I did spend like I just remember going down the like menu, being like, "What's that reverb do? What's that reverb do? What's that reverb do? That's that reverb." Like just hitting them, and then
yeah,
the brain forgets after like 3 tries, so then it's like
yeah.
everything's new, and you're like, "Oh, I think I like that one." Like let's just go with that one rather than having
We'll just stay in the basic, yeah.
experience being like, "This is gonna be the right reverb." Um,
That's awesome. I had heard that, or I'd read, not heard, I'd read that that you were award winning. What did
I
you win an
yes,
award for?
I won this award uh, for being a composer.
Wow.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
second place in an international competition for a viola piece I wrote.
That's amazing. Like, congratulations in the whole world. That's cool.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
many people can say
I
that.
felt good about that one. I was like, I'm not crazy. Peer review
Yeah.
works. They liked it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how validating is that? Like,
It was
how
very
great is
valid.
it to be like, how many people were you up against? How many people were in it?
It, I don't know, but I know it was a lot. It was a lot. And so and it was like a 6 month, it was like 6 months later. And like,
Oh, wow.
I'd written like 4 classical compositions, like for string orchestra, maybe a duet, maybe a trio or something, and then this was this solo piece that I wrote, and I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna have any traction with anything, I just need to like lay down and send a few of these off to competitions, and usually nothing happens. And I just remember like, I was like, okay, they haven't released anything. It's been like 6 months or whatever. And then I get this email like, congratulations, you placed second. And I was like, all right. And then I
Yeah.
listened to the guy that plays first. I was like, I'm proud to be on that podium. Uh,
Right.
but I there was like a lot of runners up, and a lot of people entered it. I
Wow.
I couldn't give you if it was like more or less than. I think it was more than 100. I couldn't tell
Wow.
you if it was more or less than 1,000. I
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even out of 100. I mean, that's
I
like
know you're in the top 2%.
it's
Like,
like less than 10% of the whole thing. Like, that's amazing.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
still be proud. I mean, I would be proud of that shit.
Oh, I'm
Even if it
still
was,
proud. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Shit, if it
it
was like
sits here
50
so I
people, I
can
would
flex.
still be proud.
You want an award?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's gotta be just an awesome accomplishment to, all the time and work and effort you've put into it.
Yeah, and sort of like I don't know, like so writing songs and writing music. There's like graduation moments, and winning the award was validation, but the graduation moment was like I knew that composition had what it takes to be peer reviewed.
Yeah.
It's like you spend this time in development. You don't even know your development. Maybe you do because you're like, wow, whatever. Everything I do sucks. But then you get to a point where you're like, maybe it's okay, maybe I can work on it. And then you get to a point where you actually like, you're like, okay, I have some agency here.
Yeah.
It might take a couple rounds of edits, but there's definitely agent. And so like I remember writing this piece, I was like, this one was actual agency. Like I did this on purpose and I knew what I was doing and I wanted it.
Yeah.
So that felt good.
That's awesome. Have you won any others from the couple hundred you've entered?
Oh, I've only entered like 6.
Oh, I thought you made it sound like it was like a lot.
No,
Yeah.
no, I have a few compositions, and I just sent. I was looking online, and like you can go to these websites where there are international composition competitions or whatever. And I got third place in the second round of the World Vision Composers Contest, which was this weird thing. I didn't move on to the international contest, but I got third place in the U.S.
Wow. That's still good
Out
though.
of like 50.
Yeah.
That was an interesting. I really liked the format. It was like your peer, like the people in the composition competition would vote on who would move forward.
Oh, yeah. So it's your peers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
it was an interesting thing. Um,
Yeah.
so that was cool, and I liked, and then like of course because it went over time, and there's this voting, and you can even get friends to vote. I don't know, like I
Wow.
know my family voted for me.
Yeah.
Um, but because it had like the first round or two were over like a period of time, like of course we all stalk each other on the various platforms, and so like I
Okay.
made a couple friends. I was like, your music's cool, like
Yeah.
occasionally like brush by them on Facebook or something, but it was
How
fun.
amazing. How fun.
Yeah.
I've only entered my music into one place for like a songwriting contest because a band that I've known for quite a while, their songwriter, he's won so many first place like songwriting contests. I was like, dude, I want to try, you know? And I mean, he's phenomenal. I don't think I'm him, but I definitely think I have like a chance.
Yeah.
And so I've entered quite a few of those, but nothing's come of them, and I haven't gotten to any stages. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I feel like it's kind of fun to have that like, um, the anticipation of it being possible, you know. And so yeah, so I think it's cool. Like that's so much fun, and each one of those awards kind of just amplifies and adds to your confidence of like I can do this, and
No,
stuff
I think
like that. So yeah, I mean that's amazing. That's so cool. Um, so why don't you kind of break down like your album and like how it came to be and like all of that kind of stuff.
yeah. So the album, Take a Drink. It's got 12 it's got 12
Imagine.
songs of it. I don't drink, by the way. But when we first
Me
released it,
neither.
because whenever we have a gig, we're like, our album's here, and I was like, this is gonna become so obnoxious if like the
Yeah.
third word of our mouth is album. Like, all right,
Everything's like,
I have to make a joke out of this somehow. Like, just
yeah, yeah. I
um,
love-
I think I think we just had a summer of gigging. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed rehearsing. Like Emil, it was one of those magic things when she called me up and the first rehearsal, she came over to my house because I have a pretty cool studio. And she just handed me her book of like hours of music. Um,
Wow.
and I just pulled out a bass and we just played for a couple hours. And it was, I think any musician who's spent time with musicians has had this experience where like, the magic's there or it's not. And like if
Hmm.
it's not there, like you might do it because it's music and you enjoy that, but like it's not something that's gonna be as easy as it could when the magic's there. And like the very first rehearsal is like, I get along with this person. Uh,
Yeah.
like our musical communication style is the same. Like it's like we're immediately on the same page. I never like uh could almost tell what she was thinking and what she wanted from a bass line without much instruction, right? Or
Right.
much direction, which like kind of never happens, especially if you're a songwriter. And so, in on a lot of my songs, she plays keys in the background, and like I think I gave her one note once. I think I was like, and before we even started recording, I was like, so here's the song I played it for. I was like, here's the direction I want the piano to play, and she sat down and like I didn't have to tell her anything else. Whereas like, you're a drummer. I am so hard on drummers. Um, like, it's gonna be
Most
this.
people are.
It's gonna be this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
the
usually how
fill
it goes.
here, like this is where the fills are, and it's going to be in this style, and
Yeah. Yeah.
this is the
No,
groove.
that's always how it is.
Yeah.
It's always.
Uh, so cycle through a lot of drummers, I guess that way. But so we just like let's record an album. Why not? It was a good excuse to spend like the winter after COVID or something, like doing something.
Yeah.
So we just
Kidding.
we sort of compiled the songs that we'd never recorded, and I don't know, I might have had 8 or 10 in the backfield, and she's been writing for 40 years, so she had a bajillion.
Yeah.
We just went through them, and somehow we landed on 6 songs apiece. And so then we'd had a summer of gigging. So once we figured out what songs we were doing, like we had the chance to gig them to get to know them. And then I remember like Emil's funny. Like I'm classically trained. Emil has a little training, but it's not as square. So her charts are all over the place. So I remember like one of the first things we did, I was like, all right, sit there and play your song. I'm going to be stopping you like every 20 seconds because I'm going to be counting to 4 and writing down all the chord changes and all the lyrics on all these things. So we made charts. And then we did a backing track. And then through that process, like it was weird, like there was sort of we didn't end up with the songs we started with, right? But it was more organic. Like we were like, okay, let's do these 12 songs. And then like I remember hearing a song of hers like out of the blue. I was like, why are we doing that one? That was a hit. Like come on. so
Yeah.
so kind of on purpose and kind of organically the songs got picked. And
Was it
then
hard? Like as you
what?
were kind of going through, was it kind of hard with her having so much, like so many to choose from?
No, I think there were ones she wanted to record with me, and I sort of didn't. I didn't put up a fight about like like there's no reason to like put any oil in the water in that. Like it was just like oh
Yeah.
I there was one song I sort of like I wanted it to be different than it was of hers, and so I started like attaching too much influence, and so she pulled it, which is fine. I like learned my lesson. I was like, oh, that's how you get someone to pull their own song from an album. You comment too much. Um, good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and so yeah, and we were both just happy, and we both like part of this weird magic of our relationship. Even though we're 35 years difference, we both like what each other does.
Yeah.
So there's no ego battle. There's no like or like whatever. So it's really easy to do that. I had to do more of the formal work, which is like figuring out how fast the BPMs are for click tracks, and getting a backing track, and then organizing sessions for like. Usually we could do it where we only had one musician at a time, but occasionally you wanted a couple more. So on the song "Clouds Pass By," um, we brought in a flutist to sort of put pretty flute stuff on top of it, and
Yeah.
not he could not go again. He just all the magic was lost if he was playing against an electronic device. And so on
No.
that one, we actually did the backing track live with him playing, and we had the mics really close to him, and then separated the rest of us while he could still hear and feel us. Like we tried to
Yeah.
make so that one required personnel at the same time, but the rest of the time we could kind of be like, okay, here's the edit, here's the current mix, and here's where you're gonna fit in if we bring other people in. And then with Emil and I, like occasionally we record harmonies together. I did a lot of just recording string parts on my own, just like in my basement, setting up a mic,
Yeah.
writing out a part, and just
Yeah.
doing take after take. Um, but yeah, and then in terms of songwriting, I don't know if that's also like part of this, like how did the album come about question. Emil and I write very differently. Um, Emil like sort of sits. Emil is really direct.
Hmm.
She sits down. She has all these sort of like um, touring chops, so she knows all the song forms and the chord progressions, and so she'll just pick a chord progression and write down, and then boom, there's the song. It's direct. She'll work on it and edit it, but it's way more direct. And mine, I like to soak, and I like to edit until I love it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I'll just I like one time I wrote a song. I was like, okay, I need to write a song, so just started writing down words I liked, uh, like 100 words. I was like, these words are cool, and then I was like, I'm gonna rhyme each one of these words with as many as I can, and
Yeah.
then that gave this compendium of like things I could choose from later, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, and then also part of this diversion from being direct, like if Emil's talking about how she's mad at someone, "I'm mad at you" will be the lyric. Mine will be like, "There's a storm,"
Yeah.
you know. um, uh, and and then also Emil, because she's been a solo artist for so long, she can think as a solo artist. I am constantly thinking in orchestration land.
Right. Well, you're a composer. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
strings will be here, and so
Yeah.
then like come back later and you're like, oh, I have to make it for me and a guitar. Like,
Yeah.
we'll flesh it out. So
I mean, coming from a background of the strings and classical. I mean, I would say most classical people feel that at least the ones that I've talked to, they have that mindset of like a whole ensemble, rather than just like the single
yeah,
solo, you know. And believe me, I don't know very many. I've only talked to maybe five.
yeah,
So, but like it seems I gather from everybody that like that's how how it kind of. I'm not classically trained, so you can tell
yeah.
me.
I
But
think there's a linearness to it, which is
um, yeah,
which is like there are each part, and if whereas like if you're playing rhythm guitar, like it's chunk chunk whatever, you hit the groove, you're with the drummer, you're with the bassist, whatever. Uh,
right,
Classical music, there is the groove, but the lines play off each other in a linear fashion rather than a more groove fashion.
yeah,
And so you're listening for those lines more than you are the. I hate to put it that way because we're still listening for the groove, but it's less than the four. You can sort of hear like, okay, that's going to be there. It's going to live on this wave. It's going to be there. It's going to live on this wave, and then you're listening for sort of these incidental notes that might guide where a groove is going to have the incidental beats that are going to push you to where the dance is, right? Uh,
yeah.
Classical musician is going to have the incidental notes that are going to push where the melody can be impacted.
Hmm.
I think that's what we're listening at. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I played the flute when I was younger, so I kind of into my teen years, but I kind of understand where that would be more linear. I get it. Like
Yeah,
there's a different way of hearing it and a different way of like incorporating your safe self into it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, with doing an album, like or actually like the whole thing of like being a composer, is that hard to go from like that thought process to like just a duo or a trio or like a band? Like
no,
it's hard to kind of transition to that.
no. Um, I think maybe for some, no, I like it because they're very different parts of the brain.
Mm,
Um,
right.
I mean, they complement each other, and like you can utilize things from either one. But like a song's a song, and it lives in that moment for 2.5 minutes, and it's this there's just this emotional nugget. Maybe dance music's a little different, but a song like singer-songwriter song, it's this two and
Mhm.
a half minutes of like emotional narrative. Uh, and so it doesn't comment on sort of artistic reality the way that classical music does. Classical music, there is this sort of math side. There is this sort of like, where are we in physics in the world side,
Yeah.
um, where you're focused more on the logic of like Beethoven's Fifth, da 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 da. It's
Yeah.
three notes, and it's the whole symphony, the half-hour symphony, not just the first movement, rocks those three notes for a half hour in different permutations. So classical music, you're like you're thinking about these permutations and how you can create this world with like extreme economy and also self-reference.
Yeah.
Uh, and songwriting, it's definitely just it's more like poetic as poetry. Like this is the mood. This is where I am. This is who I'm in love with. This is the tree I'm staring at. Um, and so it's just a different outlet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was curious how I was just curious
Yeah.
because I think they really are two different outlets and how you think about music. And so I not you but like as a whole, how it's thought about music. And I was just curious because it just seems like if it would be totally different thought
Yeah,
process
well,
thought process.
I mean, I'll show you right now how they self-reference. So a long time ago, I was knitting a sweater. I wrote the knitting song, which is on our Spotify. It's not on the album.
Yeah.
uh, so can you hear?
Yeah.
Learned how to knit last night. Learned how to feel. So
Yeah.
that's text painting knitting needles.
Oh,
Which, yeah, you could do in pop music, and there's all sorts of text reference in musically in pop music, but definitely in classical music, text painting like that happens where you're like, how can I get this physical action illustrated in the notes?
yeah. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right. So
Right.
that's how they influence it. And then once you know that, you can sort of hear the knitting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I totally. Yeah. I
yeah.
love it. I
So
love it. That's so cool. Well, and I think I mean I feel like classical kind of leans more towards the expression of things like that. You know, what you're doing more than like a feel like a song is more of like a time and period and a feeling and a place and a, you know, like a direct
yeah,
um
two and a
something
half
that
minutes of this emotional moment,
yeah,
right?
yeah, of this emotional thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas, you know, classical, you could drag it on for, you know, hours, but also I think there's this awesome like thing where you can express something a little bit more and make it a little bit more in depth and emotional, you know? Not to say that songwriting can't,
well,
but I feel like it does it more.
yeah. I'll add to that, which is I feel like a good song really lives in one realm,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
classical music, depending on the era, but in general, when we think about pretty stuff we hear in Safeway,
Yeah.
um, it,
Yeah.
it it is on very on purpose doing this linear, almost like rom-com narrative of introducing characters and taking them through
Yes.
different emotions, right? And so you're
Exactly.
using
Yeah.
longer form, but it does something different. It tells a very specific story over time. Whereas like a good pop song is like, this is the moment. This is
This
where
is
I
that.
am.
Yeah.
Like we're not interfering with this moment, and it's
Yeah.
almost wrong to try and ask a pop song to do that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You definitely hit the nail. I was
Yeah.
trying to say that, but you definitely did it a lot better. But yeah, I mean, and do you ever kind of miss kind of doing more classical or is it You just kind of do it over time, like with what you're doing now, or
Yeah, I think what ends up happening for me is a matter of outlet.
oh,
Uh,
true. Yeah.
yeah, so like I've got a few compositions upstairs that I'm like, okay, if I can ever get these produced, I'll write them down. But
Yeah.
until then, it's like 100 hours of writing for. It's nice to like maybe express myself on my computer. I don't know. Uh, but like, but if the outlet's not there, like the puzzle's figured out, and then there's just a lot of work to get it into fruition. And if I can't manifest the outlet, I'm gonna spend my time doing what I can manifest through an outlet.
Mm,
So singer songwriter, like it's me and a guitar, maybe me and a piano, maybe me and a violin. Like you can manifest that with very minimal means.
yeah.
So if you're
Right.
looking for a way to be poetic about an idea, maybe part of that idea is this longer form linear introducing characters and different emotions. But like in the meantime, I can also just focus on this 1 2.5 minutes of emotion and take that and have the outlet with just a guitar and a microphone. And so it's less like, oh, for me, I I think what drives me creatively is less like this need to share my emotions, but this need to figure out puzzles,
Mm,
which is, yeah, there's an emotion, there's a song there. To do it correctly is fleshing out a puzzle.
mm,
What rhymes, what beats, what feeling, and then how much can you how sort of austere can you make that? How florid can you make that? Can you make it with the least amount of means, the most efficient means possible? And then can you also make it in such a way that when you have the chance to do it with 10 people, everyone has a place to live so that you don't have to pare it down? Or can you say that, no, this expression will never be more than me and a banjo?
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so those little things that pique our interest, the puzzle factor, that's where the drive comes from. And
Mm,
so manifesting through that through manifesting that through an outlet is more about having an outlet than worrying about how it's manifested. It doesn't need to be
right.
classical composition. Um, the puzzle just needs to have an outlet.
Yeah. Right. That's interesting to look at it as a puzzle. I've never thought of it that
Yeah.
way. But that really is kind of what it is, like the as far as songwriting go, you're always trying to like you were saying back to like the words and like coming up with different words that rhyme or associate and I mean that really is kind of what it is, you're trying to figure out what like the line and like what kind of fits into that narrative of whatever you've said, and um, I think that's a really cool way to look at it. Like that's just way different than I've ever thought of it. So that's a good.
Yeah.
I give you props, man. You gave me a
Thank
new
you.
idea about
Yeah,
it.
I'll take it. I'll happy to help. Yeah.
Well,
No.
with your album, like going into each song and kind of being new to the producer side of it, was Emil kind of expecting more, or
No.
was she okay with like where everybody was at that moment?
No. Emil, because Emil has a bunch of albums and they are on Spotify.
Right, yeah.
Emil Clothier, audience members go listen to them. She's great. Emil recording an album is like Emil with a guitar and a microphone, and she'll just lay down the tracks. And then like she might hand it to someone, and she'll be like, "You think you can play guitar on this? You can like." Uh, Whereas the way we did it, because it was going to be, we knew from the outset because I do the orchestration thing, it was going to be more fleshed out. There's a sort of square. The approach is more square. Uh,
Mm,
and so whereas Emil was maybe ready to just come in and sing a song over a few takes and worry about singing or something, you being like, okay, we're gonna have to like you're gonna have to stay with the click on the click track because that way when we add this person in, it won't mess them. Then we probably won't even hear this backing track in the final mix. uh I think that Emile wasn't used to that, but in terms of like she was excited because if you hear on Tailspin, which is the title, the first track on the album,
Hmm.
uh, you can hear the string section immediately, and she'd never dealt with that. And so she was like, "Holy smokes! It's finally like sort of what it's been in my head." And from the outset, we're like, "We're gonna record these songs as they are in our head."
Yeah, right.
And so that's about coming up with personnel or doing it what we can ourselves, adding people in when we can afford
For
it.
sure. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the real gist of the album was like we're gonna do the best we can with the means we have to actually make what's in our head and not some sort of pared down kid in a
Right.
basement with a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Um, so I think yeah, we both enjoyed it because it was this opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, and it would kind of lean towards, you would think, with her expertise or longevity in this particular area, that, I guess I thought it would lean towards more her thinking that, because it's, you know, because of the expertise. But I think it's really great that she kind of allows just it to flow and kind of go with it,
Yeah,
and
it was a
let
team
it
thing.
be.
Yeah, it was a team thing. There was neither of us ever stressed the other person out, which is amazing. I
Which
remember when
is,
we got done with
yeah,
it, we're like we made an album and we're still friends. Like I
yeah,
remember that
yeah,
was like one of our favorite things
100%.
to tell people.
Yeah. Where
Uh,
you guys have where it's two different people coming from different backgrounds coming in together, and just
it's just a
really,
good, like I said, it's magic. It's one of those complementary couple things.
yeah, it really sounds like it. Like, it really does. Like, and I think that's rare though, like, if you look at a lot of bands that where they are complementary, but it doesn't seem like there's a symbolism there, or a
Symbiote.
synchronicity, or whatever, it just, that seems really cool to be able to have just right off the bat. That's hard to find.
Oh, it's never like I've had it occasionally, maybe in a classical setting where like I can groove with this person, but
Yeah,
in a sort of more popular band setting, like never. You're like, okay,
yeah.
let's get on stage together. We'll make it
Yeah.
work for each other.
See what you're really about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of thinking, because as I was kind of reading through some of the things that people have said about you guys, it was definitely like, it was kind of all over the place, of like whether you guys were soulful, whether you were like indie, whether, so it kind of was kind of cool to see how people kind of tried to describe, because there just was not a singular, like, same
Yeah,
word.
my favorite review quote is their style defies genre.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Yeah,
I'm like, okay,
100%. At one point, one of them was like, it was a soulful piano with like a crunchy riff, and I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I love
this is
it. But
so
that makes you
compliment.
unique, that just makes it all the better more, and all the better to, like, be creative within that, because nobody can pigeonhole.
Yeah,
So
it's made getting gigs or it's made promoting interesting because like
I'm sure, yeah.
well people expect you to be like we're Americana, we're jazz, we're rock, we're like
Yeah.
there's this expectation that within 3 words or a classic category like they can be like okay this is what I'm getting and you're just sort of like sheepishly being like you're gonna like it but
Yeah.
like you're just gonna have to listen. I don't want to listen to it until you tell me what it is, okay? And you just listen to it because like honestly it's not like anything you've heard. There is some singer-songwriter influence. I always tell people so Emile is totally influenced by like Buck Owens and Joni Mitchell and things like this,
Okay.
and I'm like Fugazi and Peter Gabriel and Bach, so
Oh my
like,
god. That's
like
so
just
amazing.
each
Ah,
those are docs pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Oh my god, Peter Gabriel. I never would have guessed that. That's
you can hear it on Clouds. You can hear it on Clouds now that you
I
know.
so I listened to what was it called? Oh, Barefoot, I think is what it was called. Is that right? Yeah.
Barefoot.
I'm spacing the name.
Yeah, Barefoot.
And it was definitely like surprising. You really can't like precisely, because there's just so much going on. I listened to that one and a different one, and it was I should have wrote it down, I'm sorry. But it was definitely that like infusion of so many different things, and you could like almost pick out like some like Grateful Dead or something like that, like where you
Yeah.
could just like pull out little
Riding that
pieces of,
train.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fantastic. I was like, this is great. Like
Yeah.
you can't pull it into one thing and be like, oh, I heard this new band. They're kind of like this such and such,
Nothing.
because there's the endless amount of things that it could be, or just too long.
And then Emil, like we've never actually written a song together, but we've like helped each other. She's like, I need you to bring your Liverpoolian accent to this one. Like,
Yes. That's fantastic. That's what makes it fun though, I would think that would make it like way more like exciting to kind of put something together.
oh yeah, I think yeah, I think when you can get it, go with it. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and it's funny because to me, like we just don't have much ego with each other. There's no competition, and so like you can ask open and honest questions and be influenced rather than have
Yeah.
all these walls up like
Yeah, right.
and so that just I don't know why it happened. It happened.
Yeah, I think that's well, and so I think there's 5 on the album, right? 5 songs? Is that what it is?
There are 12 songs on Electric Horse. There are 2 songs on A Side Beside, and there's 1 song on Barefoot.
Okay. So it was a side. I heard Barefoot, and then I heard one on a side beside. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like, so going from like each one, like what was the like was there like a growth between each one? Was there an idea between each one of like this?
I think
Well,
the
Barefoot one hasn't, but like you know
I
between
just think
going from before to the most current.
the growth is mainly in recording process. Songwriting, I don't say this to be arrogant. I feel like I figured out songwriting. Like I'm 43, in
Yeah,
case anyone knows. I think I figured out songwriting when I was about. I know I wrote my first good song when I was 17. I think I figured it out when I was like 22 or 23.
yeah,
Um, uh, and so there are things that improve. Like Barefoot is the latest of all of those. Like
yeah,
Barefoot
right.
is the newest, and I think it shows various aspects of maturity. But I honestly think that's in. It's just a matter of the ease of the actual creative process.
Mm,
Um, because once you reach a certain level, like yeah, you'll always have influence and you'll always grow, and you're either growing or shrinking. And you always want to be growing and things like that. Uh, but it's a matter of like how much struggle there is to just be happy with what you're doing.
mm,
Like I was on some like Reddit forum and like I remember I commented. I wasn't even trying to be a troll or anything. I was like, why are you guys making this so hard? Like, just write what you
yeah,
want, and like if you don't like it, why are you writing it?
yeah, right.
But I think at a certain level of maturity with the process, like you can do it faster with more ease and trust yourself more, and so the initial like is
Right.
this good, is this whatever, it just takes less work to get there. But in terms of
Yeah,
the end product, I wouldn't play him if I didn't like him.
yeah. That's a good point. Like a lot of people, I think they try to live up to some kind of standard where they're just not enjoying what they're playing or what they're writing or whatever the case may be. But um, I think being able to be in a place where you don't have to where it's effortless, in how you go about it or how you write it or whatever, and get to a point where you do know where like you figured it out, because I know a lot of songwriters who still haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
You know, they're still like, I don't know what I want to write, and I don't really like some of the things I've written, or they'll be like, that album was trash and this one's better, you know, or whatever. And it's like, well, there's a growth period, you know, where you have to kind of see yourself through all of these different stages, or that point in time of music that you've written, you know, or whatever. And so I was just curious if you've seen kind of like a different
Yeah.
eye in each one.
Yeah. I mean, so the earliest one is I'm sitting at home as we talk on the phone. That's on a side by side. Uh, I wrote that in like I was 21. I wrote it in an afternoon. I was in a long distance relationship, but I was the editor for the community college music thing, and they needed another track on the album that they were putting out as part of the compilation thing. And I was like, okay, I'll go
Yeah.
do this. That's the earliest. I think um, I mean, do you want opinion on how to help the creative process and where people like get insecure? Do you want that opinion, or is that not this format?
We
uh,
can say anything we want here.
yeah,
I
well,
have
I don't
no
want
I
to
have
come
no
off as
barriers.
like I say this with a lot of humility. It's not like I know everything.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when people get upset with their own songwriting, it's because they can feel the emulation and it's not living up to the standard that they're emulating. And you
Mhm.
stop that when you stop emulating. Um, so that's the oldest song that I think is recorded on any of these things. I wrote it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, it is. I want to say I learned "April Come She Will" by Paul Simon the day before. I think that's like,
Wow.
yeah. Um, and so then, like, okay, I need a song. Oh, I like the way Paul Simon's doing this. So the emulation is 100 undeniable and there.
Yeah.
Uh, but I like my song. You know, so there isn't this like Paul Simon was the goalpost. It was like, oh, those are techniques that I'm going to steal to get this out, and I'm
Yeah.
going to do it in a way I like.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be Paul Simon. I like what he did. I'm making it mine. I think when you
Yeah.
make that switch from having the comparison to who you're emulating be the thief of joy to just like, I'm stealing this. This is mine.
Yeah.
I think it eases that sort of pain of like, why does everything I do suck?
Yeah. Right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. The comparison, I think, robs a lot of people. You
yeah,
know, you're right. It is like what they think or what they're trying to be or who they're trying to be at
yeah,
that point, and that's where the disappointment comes from.
yeah,
But I think, yeah, I mean, it goes back to like quit. You know, a lot of people are like, just quit comparing yourself. Like you're just in your own lane. You know, you
yeah.
do what you want to do.
I think also this idea of finality. So
Oh yeah.
not only like until you've had that graduation moment, and to any who I don't know who's listening, but if you're looking for the graduation moment, you'll know you when you get there, and you'll know it because you love what you did. You're like, I love this. 10 years later, you might come back and you're like, I don't love this anymore.
Yeah.
You always have the song's not dead until the song's not done until you're dead. You can always change it. So,
Right.
in clouds,
That's-
clouds pass by, sun shines through the breeze. Some children cry when Joe falls and scrapes her knee. Right, so that's the line I use now. That line was like super kitschy, like when children scrape. It was like the children and the love and the breeze or whatever. And like,
Yeah.
I just remember like this is so cliche, and I still like it. Like, but I was like, okay. And then like my daughter, she's 9, but she like scraped her knee one time, and I was like, putting that in the song and changing it because the other one's cliche, and like, and you
Yeah.
can always change it, right? And so then
Yeah.
don't
That's
have to
such a
be
good point.
you don't have to be upset
Yeah.
about it, you know. And I
Yeah.
think this continually being able to revise and edit so you always do love it, makes creativity a lot easier.
Do you think it takes away from the moment that it was in though? And
No,
in that space
no.
and time that you were in that
I
point?
mean, in theory, we all have it in the can somehow. From like, there is a recording of that somehow. Um, but if you're not in that moment, and there's still something in the song that, like, if you don't want the song, don't perform it, don't play it anymore, right?
Right.
But if there is that nugget that you're like, oh, this still pulls at me some way, but I don't like that part, there's no rules that say you can't change that part. If you still, the
Yeah.
rest of it
Right.
still moves you. Like
That's so true. Yeah. So true.
get rid of that.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, and that's really, a good way of kind of ever evolving too, like a song, you're right. I mean, it can ever evolve and never be the same over and over and over again at the same time, like it would always be whoever you are in that point in your life, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's totally. We're all evolving, and to expect that you're going to have the same relationship with something you did even 10 weeks ago creatively, it's not fair to you or the creative process. It's just not
Yeah.
fair. Like
Yeah.
it's this expectation that I, that that you're beholden to something that you're not. And the whole point,
Yeah.
like if I have a thesis statement about the creative process, is like your job to put into the world what you want that no one else is doing, right?
Right.
And so so many people are just trying to put in the world what someone else is doing because they like it.
Yeah. Gosh.
And that's cool, that's fun, play the covers, play the whatever, but to allow that to be unfair to the rest of the creative process isn't a kindness, right? It's not particularly kind.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's really, I think, a great a great I think it's great advice because I think people do behold themselves to some sort of standard of what it should be or what it was then, and you're playing it, like I just saw my favorite band and they've been playing for like 30 years now, and the one song that was from the very beginning they played at the most current place and or concert that we saw, and man, it hits different, like they play it different, it hits different. I'm at a different point in my life. Like it's so true. They changed the lyrics a little bit. So it was like, come to think of it, now that you're saying that. So it was like you are right. Like it's ever evolving if you allow it to be. You don't ever have to hate your own music or unlike it at that time in your life because it can always change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no, it's yours, and the,
Yeah.
like why would you ever make something you don't love? Like that one blows my
Yeah.
mind. Like,
That's so true, though.
who
I
wants
mean,
to listen to
music.
that? I don't like
Yeah,
this piece. Well, then why would I listen to it?
yeah, yeah. That's true, though. Like, I would never, too. So it's like that's the beauty of that whole statement is like you don't ever have to you know. I would never want to get to a place where I hate my own music or my own songs or my own writing, even if it was back in like even 5 years ago, let's say, like so many things have changed in 5 years. And especially for all of us who have now gone through COVID and everything, where like your music would change. And a lot of people changed in that whole time of whether they liked to write music or not, or whatever the case is. Um, and so it's interesting to see the kind of perspective of how people really feel behold to what they had before as opposed to now, and I don't think I agree with you. I don't think that's fair. Like you're kind of limiting your creativity at that point,
Yeah, I mean, I think a listener can do whatever they want, right? And there is this thing as performers and entertainers, like we're living in someone else's nostalgia.
No.
Like that's sort of the job. Uh,
Yeah, that's so true.
uh,
Gosh.
but as a creative, to produce that nostalgia, there's a weird dialogue that happens that pertains to what we're talking about, this unfairness. We're like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're creating nostalgia, you're creating these moments in time, but you can't you can't have that be the goalpost. The goalpost has to
Exactly.
be a different type of honesty. And I know with like people I work with, because I've taught a lot of classes about creativity and things, and like you just like like
Yeah.
let's just make this about, did you like that or didn't you? If you didn't like it, change it. If you liked it,
Change it.
keep it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Yeah.
completely binary form. And I
Right.
think that gets lost. And even when you're like teaching, like I'll go in and teach a kindergarten like art painting class. You can see it there. They're like, my drawing's not as good as this kid next to me. I'm done drawing. I'm gonna go like it happens that early, the artistic shaming.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa, man, like, but you like red, right? Like you're 6. You can live in red. Like, let's talk red, man. Like, don't worry about the fact that
Yeah.
little whomever over there can actually draw a face and they're 6, because that's weird. But you like
Yeah.
red. Let's do red.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so true. But to encourage, and yeah, to go back like to that point of it is, I think, encouraged at a young age to there's always something better or somebody better or whatever. And so that's how you kind of interpret it, right? Is like she drew a face and I didn't. Hers is blue and mine is red. Like, there's this always comparison as you get older. And I think the creative process gets lost somewhere in that
Well, I
realm.
think just the comparison thing, you forget to listen to what you actually
Right.
like what you actually want, and then it gets impacted by, like, I don't know, the popular, the cool, like is this cool to other people? Like that's why, like, winning this, like, you get these rare instances of validation where you're like, I'm not crazy. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but to constantly, like, it's hard to have the sounding board where you can constantly be like, no, I like this. My friends all think I'm weird and crazy and don't like anything I'm into. Like that it is hard to live into that confidence. You have to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But to actually have permission in the creative process to be like, no, I like little Johnny's face. He drew a brilliant face. I can't. I want to draw better. And you can either be like, I'm going to spend the 40 million hours to do that, or you can be like, but I also like, which is worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth on the hours.
Right.
But or you can be like, I also like red, and I'm way better at it than like spending 40 million hours. So I'm just gonna like rock red,
Yeah.
maybe a little white, make it pink, maybe add some blue, make it purple.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this comparison, we lose it because there's, I think in the arts we forget to look at it, and this is an advantage of classical music. We forget to look at it scientifically.
Mm,
It ends up being completely biased in comparison.
yeah.
And if you do look at it scientifically, it it allows a lot more freedom, because you're, rather than worrying about will or taste, you're just making decisions,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's fascinating. Jeez. Yeah, it's a different way to like train your brain, to like rewire it a different way to accept, I don't know, just accept where you're at, I guess, with everything. And either you can spend the 40 million hours or just accept where you are and be like, okay, I just like red and I'm just gonna just screw it all over the thing, call it a day, like paint it everywhere. And I mean, I literally yesterday saw a guy, he was some national artist, Japanese guy, and he's just literally putting black all over the thing. He sold that thing for
yeah,
$12 million.
exactly. But
I
it's
was
because he's
like, I
living in
could
it.
do that.
It
Like,
speaks to
what?
it speaks to it, like, and obviously he's put in the work to get the value there. Like we can't
Yeah,
dispute that. But
right.
like, it speaks to something where he has manifested a moment that speaks to that value.
Yeah,
Him
right.
doing some silly brushstrokes because he loves it that much.
Yeah,
We can on the outside be like, whatever, I can draw freaking stick people, and I don't mind make 12 million. There's something about the honesty and how much he loves it, and the rigor he's gone through to get to that place of honesty,
yeah,
that actually is worth $12 million, right? And
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm not going to make $12 million off my honesty. It'd be nice, but like, that
yeah,
doesn't mean I should discount his $12 million. That means I should be
yeah.
like, oh, there's value there. There's genuine value there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, and it's also, valuing what you do and what you're putting into it, and what's your time of putting into it. Because at what point is it worth it to you if you're consistently so judgmental of yourself doing music or whatever it is, that you just stop it altogether, you
Oh,
know?
just a sorry. Amanda, black pants. They're gonna be the next to the bed or on the laundry. Car key issue.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, why don't you play some for us? I feel like
Alright. Yeah, we
we played a
talked a
little
lot.
bit. I
Do you have any requests?
No, I always like to leave it up to the person just because I feel like it's
Alright.
whatever you want the people to hear.
So I wrote this one a week ago on a camping trip. Uh,
Hey,
yeah,
awesome.
my son walked, or my daughter walked up to me and she was like, "Daddy, you need to write a song while we're camping." And then my son, he said, like, "You have Joe in a song, but I'm not." Johanna's 9, Artie's 6. He's like, "I need to have lyrics in a song or something."
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So he said, "You need to put something about swallowtail butterflies," because they know that's the band name. Okay.
Right.
And then he's like, "Put something about me too." So I did.
They challenged you. How awesome.
I think they just gave me prompts. I didn't feel
Yeah,
challenged.
right. There's that too. Yeah.
But I've only played it a few times, so I'll do the best I can to like not mess up. But,
I'm excited.
whispered laughter among the pines. Hammocks not for sleeping, the night is not. Mm. Echoes off the water of pink and blue. The breeze is twinkling in a mellow hue, and most of us will be sleeping soon. La di da, la di da da, la di da, la di da da, sing la di da, la di da da. Little Arthur chases swallowtail butterflies in the trees surrounding us near the lake shore. Mm. High above, jet plane across the sky. Yes, high above, starlight grows the wonder in my eye. High above, jet plane across the sky. High above, starlight grows the wonder in my eye. laughter among the pines. Hammocks not for sleeping, no night is nigh. Echoes off the water of pink and blue. The breeze is twinkling in a mellow hue. And most of us will be sleeping soon. La-di-da, la-di-da-da-day. La-di-da, la-di-da-da-day. La-di-da, la-di-da-da-day. La-di-da, la-di-da-da-day.
I love it. That's such a like I feel like it's like the wind, how you say it? You're just like sitting by a lake and there's like this like wind
That's what it is.
blowing and it's this like flowy.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of felt.
Yeah, it was just a moment in time.
Yeah, I love it. That was such a good one. I like that song.
Thank you.
A lot actually. That was good. Did you want to share any others? We have a little bit of time left.
Yeah. What do you want to? What do you want to hear?
Um,
Here's another one. So I don't know. So the other thing about, we talked about this maturity thing where you have confidence, like I can write a song or whatever. Then it's being comfortable with the trends. The last 3 songs I've written in are basically in E, and like I think before I would have been like, ooh, I need to change the key. That's boring.
yeah.
And then the other thing is they all have this. They're all either about lakes or weather. So I was canoeing on a lake.
Yeah.
And my buddy and I were just canoeing on a lake. We were on a week-long camping trip, and this came out of it. It's called "Out of the Boat, Colleen."
Okay. I'm excited.
Out of the boat, Colleen. Out of the boat into the wild, wide sea. Out of the boat, Colleen. Out of the boat into uncertainty. Uncertainty, certainly. There might be sharks down there, and I'm scared to go. Scared to go swimming, my love. 2, 3, 4. Out of the boat, Colleen. Out of the boat, jump in with silly old me. Out of the boat, Cherie. Jump off the port and we'll go snorkeling. But the sea, it might leave a bad taste in my mouth. Colleen, please swim with me. Danger here is no worse than living, my love. So put your flippers on, pull your goggles down, and then take my hand, and we'll dive into the sea. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-da-da-da-dee-da-da. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-da-da-da-dee-da-da. to uncertainty. Out of the bushery, jump off the port and go snorkeling. Because there are no sharks down there. And of this, I am quite certain, my love. So put your flippers on, pull your goggles down, check your snorkel out, take a great deep breath, and then hold my hand, and we'll dive into the sea. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-dee-da-da.
Love it. Gosh, those are so fun. Did your son approve of the song?
I think he likes that one. Yeah, these ones are more. They have less grit than some other things I've written, but you know,
Yeah.
that's how it goes. That one. So this is. I was at this resort and I walked past a conversation and like one of these things where you just hear someone say like half a
Yeah.
sentence, and this like 17 or 18-year-old kid, he said, I was very uncertain. And I was like, I never say uncertain. That is not something. I was like, that is a great word. And
Yeah.
so that's sort of the nugget that like I was canoeing with a buddy. Yeah, but this nugget about uncertainty and certain. And like, I was like, man, that's a great thing to just play with.
Yeah. The idea of that. Yeah.
Well,
That's
and
awesome.
just like, there's a taste to that
Yeah.
word. Like it has a thing.
Yeah. Does do melodies kind of come easy to you?
Sometimes, um, would you like my opinion on how to build them? Like I feel that like let me
You
tell you
can
about
talk about
melodies.
it. Like I said, like there's no like
I
I don't have
know just
any.
like let me tell you about melodies. Um,
I mean, if it help, I'm all for it if it helps other
I
people.
think I remember really young, like looking at a song and noticing that there was like and no reading like this is reading notes. And I remember noticing that there was contour in the notes. Um, and so I remember writing a song and being like, "Oh, I was singing all one note. I should sing more than that." And then, but then once you gain that comfort, then you have to be okay with singing one note as well, because then it's a win.
Hmm.
But I think just being willing to know that there is contour there, um, and there's two ways to do it among the infinite ways. But you can set up the groove, right? That like that song. I mean, it just had this sort of like sing along campy feel to it, and like playing
Yeah.
it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like just do it like like all of a sudden when I perform it now, then I have a sing along with the audience that they've never heard before, which goes off great, right? You're like
Yeah.
you're part of this too, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
learn the
You're
lyrics. It's just
independent. Yeah.
but also in writing even lyric things with lyrics, like I'll often start with dot ups and didos and things just to figure it out. And then the other thing is mimicking. Did you hear that?
Hmm.
Okay, so I remember coming up with that riff, but that was like right. Like
Yeah.
I wrote that riff 20 years ago. I've never finished that song because I'm like not ready for it. Like I just like
Yeah.
it, but I'm like it'll get there. But like copying the riff is just great, or just coming up with random digga like it always works. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah. You don't have to put so much effort into it, I guess.
Yeah, or just back to this decision making, like, oh, I was singing all one note. I should put
Yeah. Change it. Yeah. I
another.
mean, well,
Yeah.
it's I think I think that kind of goes back to like people really having a hard time allowing changes to happen, you know, like if you stay in all one note, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to be like, oh, I think I could go from like I don't know, I guess C to a D or whatever, a D flat, I don't know. And you know, allowing yourself to be like that inflection change, you know, and being okay with it or whatever. But um I think if like for me, melody is so hard to like come up with. Like I just struggle. Like it's so
Are you a natural, like, native singer? Do you sing a lot?
I sing a lot, but I my brain hasn't connected like being able to make a melody and sing and play and whatever, because I play the guitar too, but like I, I I know so many people that can just like come up with it so quick, and then me, I'm like, I have no idea, bro. I have all the
Yeah.
words, you know, like I
Well,
got no.
I'll show you some process.
Okay.
So this is the song by the Lake Camping. Um,
Yeah.
so I just was playing that riff, and then I started humming, and I don't I read notes, but I didn't have note paper there. So I just put how
Yeah. I see.
and this was actually like how I was feeling. I was like, oh, it's restful.
Yeah.
And so then I just took that idea, and then I started da 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 da, right?
Yeah.
Whisper laughter among, and that's down here.
Yeah.
Whisper
Yeah. Yeah.
laughter among the pine. Right. So already just by drawing it, it has contour.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Interesting.
I didn't have to remember it either.
Yeah.
Go
See,
back. I
that's
was like,
always
oh, I
it
know
too.
that.
Yeah. That's always the hard part too, is like remembering, like even if I do come up with something, it's always like remembering what it was and or figuring out if it's something I came up with or if it's just something I heard.
Oh, that
You know.
doesn't matter.
So
You probably did hear it, but you came up
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with it.
I mean, it's, you know, I try. I'm better at the lyrics part of it. I figure I can do drums and I can do the lyrics and leave the good stuff to everybody else. So, you
Living
know,
the
that's kind of my
living
theory
the
right now.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. As long as it makes you happy.
You're right. Exactly. Going back to that, you're right. Yeah. Well, I also really enjoy like so most of my songs are collaborated with somebody else, and so I just found that like, you know, going back to kind of like where you and you know, you and Emil are very like cohesive, like me and her are too, and so it's just kind of interesting to like find that balance, I guess, of like me just being able to be like, yeah, I think I like that word in that tone or that way or whatever, you know, and then going into like recording, it was it was so different because they were like, oh, well, what if we do this, or what if we do this, or how about we change this, or how, and then you're just like, I don't know, you do whatever feels great.
Yeah.
You're, you know, like I don't know
I
how I
thought
heard
we
it
had
anymore.
it.
Yeah. And I forget how I heard it in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave that to you.
Yeah.
You know, like so it's a process though. I mean, I feel like there's so many talented people that can just do it so hard. It's so easy and they've figured it out, you know, whereas I don't think I've put in the 40 million hours to figure it
Yeah,
out yet.
I think there's an like I don't know. I feel like there's a native attraction to whatever it is, and like, and when you allow that, you end up putting in the 40 million hours,
Mm,
like accidentally,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like for me, it was drawing. Like I draw. I was the kid at the age of 6 who could draw a face, and everyone was like, "Well, why would I draw?" And
Me
but what
too.
ends up happening is all of a sudden when you are anywhere, there's doodles on the edge of your paper,
Mm,
and those are just hours of drawing. right? And so like, and then I forget who it was. Some famous '50s songwriter. He had a 6-hour drive between his house and the studio or something. So he would just write his songs singing on his commute,
Wow.
right? And so he's sort of
Jeez.
just natively doing the craft, putting in the 40 million hours, like really passively. Sometimes you have to do the tech and like not be passive, but like there are these things where like, okay, if you don't want to put in the 40 million hours, you might consider a different creative outlet, right?
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's no shame in being like, okay, like I don't actually like working on that. I like the prestige of the idea of that, but I don't
Yeah.
actually like working on
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it.
It's
Living
true.
red, man. Living red.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, honestly. I gotta give you that. It's a good point. I guess if you don't want to put in the time to be able to be, you know, good enough to do whatever it is that you want to do, then or the time to put into it,
Well,
then
I think less than a matter of will. Like it's supposed to be something you love doing,
yeah, 100%.
right?
Right.
And yeah, there are like I had to learn a few scales on the guitar. That took on purpose time. That I was like, oh yay, let's learn scales. Like no one wants to do that.
Yeah.
But the but the rest of it is like, oh, I like having this awkward wooden object in my hand and humming along to it.
Yeah.
That's all these like passive hours that you just build on, right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
And
Yeah.
and then you enjoy it. Like I don't know. Like in terms of like if I do, because we're coming to the end. If I do have deep space philosophy on art in America, I I think it's people attach too much talent and too much prestige to it. It's like this get out of jail free card to have fame or
Mm.
something, and it's for the talented.
Yeah.
And that is such a disservice to art and music.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a like what happened to the days like where and it was not that long ago. It was 80 years ago. Everyone was playing music on their porch. Everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And now what happens? Like, yeah, we go fill mega stadiums, but way less people. I mean, like like some of the apps are sort of helping with how people can make their own beats and make their own rhymes and be their own producer without having to know a lick of music. Like that's cool. There's
Yeah.
no discounting that. But before this sort of like it needs to be talented and famous, people just made music in their house like all the time.
Yeah.
And they enjoyed it. You
Yeah.
know,
Right. Of
like,
course.
yeah,
But that's the truth, right? Like
yeah.
that's exactly what it was is people had this like freedom to just they didn't have any constraints, they didn't think about it. It just happened.
Well, and
You
there
know?
was nothing better to do.
Well, that's true. Yeah. There were no gaming and no, yeah. I guess that's a
Free.
good point. What do you want to do today? Let's just sit down and play some music. You know, like
Exactly. Like it's either that or cards. Like we just
yeah.
played cribbage for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Let's go to the
Yeah.
piano. Let's sing.
That is a good point. Oh my god. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think being able to like, I don't know, give yourself some credit and be able to sit and write a song yourself is it does take that time though, I think if you're willing to put in the time. You know, like I can write a bunch of lyrics, but at the end of the day, it's not going to do anything unless I, you know, put in the time. Because the people aren't always going to be there to do the melody, I guess, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it. It's making time.
And just
which
if
which
you
I feel like
want it,
is
you gotta go
always
do it.
running.
What?
I feel like time is always running away. Like you're always chasing it, you know? Like
It's always, it's
yeah.
always one step ahead.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, I am so thankful for you coming on today. The conversation was very awesome. I had a good time, and I hope you did too.
No, it was nice. It was fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for. It was. I
Um,
was surprised. I got reached out to. I was like, I'll do it. Thank you.
I mean, I try to bring people on because not everybody sees the show, you know. So like, I try and make it so that people can experience different people and different music and all of that good stuff. So
Cool.
these days, I've just been like anybody that I like see, I'm like, okay, I'll add you and see if you want to play. You know, Like,
Yeah,
I feel like why not? What is
definitely.
there to lose?
Well, nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing your music as well as just your story and your journey in music. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
you're welcome.
So thanks again. Where can people like find you guys and also where
Uh,
you're playing next?
yeah, Swallowtail in the Kaleidoscope is what we are on most streaming services. Most social platforms are Swallowtail Band. Uh, and then Emil and I, we live in the middle of nowhere. We've had a hard time scaring up gigs this summer. So hopefully this fall we'll have a couple. We live in the Methow Valley.
Yeah.
You're from Seattle. It's like 4 hours away from anything.
Yeah. I don't live in Seattle proper anymore. I live in the mountains too, actually. So
Which mountains?
uh so do you know where Ponderay is? Ponderay
Yeah,
County?
yeah.
I live in Ponderay County, and Ponderay County Valley is what we call it, North Valley.
Cool.
So I'm very much like you. It's takes an hour to get anywhere cool, like
Yeah.
McDonald's or something,
Yeah.
So
If whomever's listening, I've got like 5 songs that I hope to get out soon.
yeah,
So just stay with us, follow us on whatever. Everything I release will be hit up on Instagram first. It'll usually be through Spotify, but if you want to know when the releases are, they're on Instagram first.
awesome. Well, I look forward to it. I'm curious. Are
Yeah.
are the two that you played today going to be part of the five?
Yes.
Hey, we got a first listen. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear the rest of them because I really liked both of those. So, I mean,
All right. Well, thanks, Kara.
that's going to be great.
Now I
Yeah,
have a reason to get them out. People will listen to
you see?
them.
Oh, and maybe they'll be just in time for people next year, next summer to play them while they're camping or whatever, Like
Yeah.
it could be a camping theme.
Well, in this one,
Not all of
whispered
them.
laughter among the pines,
Yeah.
cinematic strings.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Well, everybody, I hope you go and follow them. I hope that you're able to find them on social media so you can hear their music and what's coming up. And as always, thank you for joining us and tuning in. And, you know, uh, let's save local music and keep it around for a while. So keep listening, please. And the venues too. Keep going to shows. So thank you very much. Have a great day, guys. Bye.